Hey, Drew.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, everybody at Ben and Olive. Listen, we kind of got some positive feedback from you guys from our Easter interpretation, so we got to talking and thought we'd do something else, and the church has started some devotionals on Ruth, and so me and Drew thought we would give you our version of Ruth. So
Take you on a magical trip through the 4 chapters of the book of Ruth.
Right.
I think you'll enjoy our interpretation of it, especially maybe the female viewers. I think the boys will also enjoy it as
I
well.
think so. We've got some new stuff for you. We had some new sponsors come on board.
We did.
So that'll be exciting. And
New commercials, old commercials, some of the old favorites.
That's
some
right.
new ones. Yeah.
So we hope you like it. Here it is.
Enjoy.
The Book of Ruth. It's a brilliant work of theological art, and it invites us to reflect on the question of how God is involved in the day-to-day joys and hardships of our lives. There are 3 main characters in the book: Naomi, the widow, Ruth, the Moabite, and Boaz, the Israelite farmer. And their story is told in 4 chapters that are beautifully designed. Let's just dive in and see how this all unfolds. Chapter 1 opens with this line: "In the days when the judges ruled." And it reminds us of the very dark and difficult days from the book of Judges. And here we meet an Israelite family in Bethlehem, struggling to survive through a famine. And so in search of food, they move on to the land of Moab, Israel's ancient enemy. And there the father of the family dies, and the sons marry 2 Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. And then the sons, they die too. And so they leave only Naomi and these new daughters-in-law. And so Naomi, she has no reason to stay anymore. And so she tells her new daughters-in-law that she's moving back home. And Naomi, she knows that the life of an unmarried foreign widow in Israel is going to be very hard. And so she compels the women to stay behind. Orpah agrees, but Ruth does not. She shows remarkable loyalty to Naomi, and she says, "Wherever you go, I'm going to go. Your people will become my people, and your God will become my God." And so the 2 of them return to Israel together. And the chapter concludes with Naomi changing her name to Mara, which means bitter in Hebrew, and she laments her tragic fate. Chapter 2 begins with Naomi.
Welcome to a story about a foreign girl in a foreign land. A love story. Okay, hold on. It's not that bad. Just hang with me here. First, let's meet our cast of characters.
First up are the parents. Elimelech.
Hello. Elimelech.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Sorry. His wife, Naomi. Hi. Naomi, not Naomi.
Their sons, Malin. What's up? His name means sick. And Chilian.
Word.
Chilian like a villain. Oh, chilian like a villain.
As a family, they leave Bethlehem. Yes, that Bethlehem. Wonder if the ends were still filled and went to Moab. Just sounds like a terrible place to go. Moab, more like Noab. Hey, wait for us.
Elimelech dies after they arrive in Moab. Told you it was a terrible place. But the boys find wives. Enter Orpah. Good grief, for real. Orpah sounds like a whale. That's Orca. No, yeah. And Ruth. She seems important.
Well, at least things are starting to look up for our characters now.
And then the brothers both die. Sheesh, it really was Noab.
So now, all that are left are Naomi and her 2 daughter-in-laws, Orpah and Ruth. She offers them that they can stay in Moab if they want, but she is returning to Bethlehem. Hope she isn't staying at that inn. One of them stays and one goes with her. Which one do you think goes with her?
Well, the book isn't named Orpah. Thank goodness.
So Ruth goes with her mother-in-law Naomi back to Bethlehem and tells Naomi she will go wherever she goes. What if she goes to the bathroom? Oh, okay. You get the point. Now a word from our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Malachi, and I'm the inventor of the MyPillow. Nothing will give you a heavenly night's sleep like one of my new MyPillows. Now available in 3 sizes: small, medium, and our newest, large. If you act now, and if you buy all 3 sizes, I'll throw in a free MyPillow mattress pad topper. It's free, but you have to pay the shipping and handling, of course. Visit our website at www.mypillowisArock.com and choose any size for the low introductory price of 1 shekel and 2 denarius.
Matthew's Accounting Service. Need taxes done by someone you can trust? Been taken advantage of by those other accounting services? We understand. Mainly because we used to do the same thing to you. Don't worry. We don't now. Having the all-knowing creator of Earth as your BFF changes things. Give us a call at our new number, 5, so we can help with claims from how many sheep you use in sacrifices to buying a new improved fishing boat. Call today.
Are your sandals worn down? Do your feet smell like leather mixed with Cheetos mixed with donkey poop? Come into Jethro Sandals Repair today and we will clean them with soap and water. Free living water with each new pair. Or you could buy a pair from our new fall covered toe line of sandals, aka boots, made of the finest serpent skin. Finally, a good use for that old codger. Call 2 and ask to speak to Jethro.
The father of the family dies, and the sons marry 2 Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. And then the sons, they die too. And so they leave only Naomi and these new daughters-in-law. And so Naomi, she has no reason to stay anymore. And so she tells her new daughters-in-law that she's moving back home. And Naomi, she knows that the life of an unmarried foreign widow in Israel is going to be very hard. And so she compels the women to stay behind. Orpah agrees, but Ruth does not. She shows remarkable loyalty to Naomi. And she says, wherever you go, I'm going to go. Your people will become my people, and your God will become my God. And so the 2 of them return to Israel together. And the chapter concludes with Naomi changing her name to Mara, which means bitter in Hebrew, and she laments her tragic fate. Chapter 2 begins with Naomi and Ruth discussing where they're going to find food. And it just so happens to be the beginning of the barley harvest. And so Ruth goes out to look for food, and it just so happens that she ends up picking grain in the field of a man named Boaz, who just so happens to be Naomi's relative. We're told that Boaz is a man of noble character, and he notices Ruth. And so after finding out more about her story, he shows remarkable generosity to her. He makes these special provisions so that the immigrant Ruth can gather grain in his field. And in doing so, Boaz is actually obeying an explicit command of the Torah to show generosity to the immigrant and the poor. Boaz is so impressed by Ruth's loyalty to Naomi. He prays for her that God will reward her for her boldness. So Ruth comes home that day, and Naomi finds out that she met Boaz, and she is thrilled. She says Boaz is their family redeemer. Now, this family redeemer thing, this was a cultural practice in Israel where if a man in the family died and he left behind a wife or children or land, it was the family redeemer's responsibility to marry that widow, to take up the land and protect that family.
So now we pick back up with our girl Ruth and her mom-in-law Naomi, back in Bethlehem, where they decide they're probably going to need some food and Chick-fil-A wasn't invented yet.
how did they live?
So Ruth went to the barley fields.
What's barley?
Think Captain Crunch without all the things that taste good.
Okay. At the fields, we meet our newest character, my boy and yours, Boaz!
God bless you. May the Lord be with you. Whoa. Who is that girl, yo?
Oh, that's Ruth. She came back with poor Naomi and asked permission to pick our fields and has worked all day long with only one short break.
Ruth, girl, don't go to any other field. Follow behind the other workers and get whatever you want from the good barley. If you need a drink, use our fountain. Mi casa, su casa, girl.
Oh, Boaz, thank you. You are so nice to me, even though I'm not from your country or speak Spanish. Why are you being so good to me?
I heard about how good you've been to Naomi. I know you left your country and came to live with a people you didn't know before. Also, it doesn't hurt that you're really cute. But for real, may God bless you, and you may work in my fields anytime you wish. So Ruth returns home to Naomi and tells her of meeting our boy, Boaz. Hey, Naomi, I met Boaz.
Oh, yes, Boaz is the man. Literally, he is one of our kinsman redeemers.
Oh no, he's kin to us?
No, kinsman redeemer, like family protector.
Oh.
Jonah's fishing lures. The other guys claim to be able to catch the biggest fish. But no one knows fish inside and out like Jonah. If you haven't caught fish in 3 days and 3 nights, get your money back. Call us today at 10.
Jerusalem City donkeys, Jerusalem City. We're healing!
Eon!
We want to see ya on a donkey.
New locations to serve you in Bethlehem and Nazareth, but never Samaria. Old OO inventory has to go for the new 01 models coming in. Bad credit? No problem. We do unto others as we would have them do to us. Financing issues? We do 33 years. Call us today at 3.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. I'm liking it. Oh man, I wish I had some fish. It's not good, but at least it's free.
Come on down to Moses' Manor, where our manna is new every morning. We do stand behind our product. Just don't try to keep it overnight. Seriously, don't. Unless you like maggots. I mean, we don't. It's not named Moses' Maggots, you know.
Chapter 3 begins with Naomi and Ruth making a plan to get Boaz to notice their situation. So Ruth is going to stop wearing clothes of a grieving widow, and she's going to show signs that she's available to be married. And so Ruth goes to meet Boaz on the farm that night. And as she approaches, Boaz wakes up and he's totally startled. And Ruth makes her intentions very clear. She asks if Boaz will redeem Naomi's family and marry her. Boaz is once again amazed by Ruth's loyalty to Naomi and her family, and he calls Ruth a woman of noble character. It's the same term used to describe the woman of Proverbs 31. So Boaz tells Ruth to wait until the next day, and he will redeem both Ruth and Naomi legally before the town elders. And so the chapter ends with Ruth returning to Naomi, and they marvel together at all of these recent events.
So now we are back at Ruth and Naomi's house, as Naomi decides she will give Ruth some dating advice, which I bet was weird, but I digress. Ruth, girl, you've been working at Boaz's house for long enough. It's time for you to get his attention. First, take a bath, girl. Seriously, Bath and Body Works, perfume, plenty of perfume.
Well, do I smell that bad?
No, but just trust me. Men like good smells. It's unusual to them. They're used to donkey poo, and their sandals smell like Cheetos. A little strawberry, blackberry, ocean breeze, wild orchid perfume will get his attention. Go wait by his feet for him to wake up from a nap, and then pop the question.
Got it. Smell good. Weirdly loiter at his feet for him to wake up. What could go wrong?
I don't know.
Whoa, whoa. Hey, did it hurt?
Did what hurt?
When you fell from heaven, you must be an angel looking and smelling like that.
Oh, Boaz, you crazy boy. Listen, you're my family redeemer, so why don't you marry me?
Ah, for sure I will, girl, but first, there's a family redeemer that's closer than me. Let me check with him.
Corner, right on the price. Come visit Joe and me today at our new location in Samaria City, Camels. Run on our new improved Camelot.
Our competition may want to see ya on a donkey. But who wants a stubborn old donkey? Well, you can have a new O2 model camel. Come check out our 2-hump and new luxury edition model with 3rd-hump family seating. Visit us in the heart of the Mammal Mile. Have you been injured by locusts? Took a frog to the face? How about dropped a stone tablet on your sandaled foot? Then you need Hezekiah, Zebediah, Obadiah, and Mullins, attorneys at law. Give us a call at the stable between the Tanner's house and the Potter's house. Dial 11. That's 1-1. And our friendly assistant Mary, no, not that Mary. No, not that one. The other one. We'll direct your call. Long hair does care. Are you really strong and have really, really long hair? Then Samson's Gym and Hair Salon is the place for you. See Hezekiah, he has no hair and he's not strong. But look, after 1 month at Samson's Gym and Hair Salon, look what we can do for you. Call us to set up an appointment today. Dial 45, as in pounds.
It turns out, at the last minute, Boaz discovers there is a family member who's closer to Naomi than he is, and he's actually eligible before him to redeem the family. But at the last second, this family member finds out that he's going to have to marry Ruth, the Moabite, and so he declines. But Boaz, remember, he knows Ruth's true character, and so he acquires the family property of Naomi, and he marries Ruth. And so just at the beginning, how Ruth was loyal to Naomi's family, so now Boaz is loyal to Naomi's family as well. The story concludes with a reversal of all of the tragedies from chapter 1. So the death of the husband and the sons is reversed as Ruth is married again and gives birth to a new son, granting joy to Naomi. And this symmetry between the opening and the closing, it's even more remarkable. So remember, the opening tragedy was followed by a great act of loyalty on the part of Ruth. And that is now matched by Boaz's act of loyalty that leads to the family's final restoration. And this symmetry, it highlights the design of the internal chapters as well. So each of the chapters begins with Naomi and Ruth making a plan for their future. And that's followed by a providential meeting between Ruth and Boaz. And each chapter concludes with Naomi and Ruth rejoicing at what's taken place. This story is beautifully designed, and that design actually connects with a really interesting feature of the story, and that's how little God is mentioned. Right, the characters talk about God a few times, but the narrator actually never once mentions God doing anything directly in the story, and that's its brilliance. Because God's providence is at work behind every scene of this story, weaving together the circumstances and choices of all these characters. So Naomi, her tragedy leads her to think that God is punishing her, but actually the whole story is about God's mission to restore her and her family. And he's doing so through Ruth, through her boldness and loyalty, which brings healing to Naomi's life, but not without Boaz, who's a no-nonsense farmer who's full of generosity and loyalty. And so God uses his integrity combined with Ruth's boldness to save Naomi and her family. And so this story brilliantly explores the interplay of God's purposes and will with human decision and will. God weaves together the faithful obedience of his people to bring about his redemptive purposes in the world. And that leads to the real end of the story. The book of Ruth concludes with a genealogy, showing how Boaz and Ruth's son, Obed, was the grandfather of King David, from whom came the lineage of the Messiah. And so all of a sudden, these seemingly mundane, ordinary events in this story are woven into God's grand story of redemption for the whole world. And so the book of Ruth invites us to consider how God might be at work in the very ordinary, mundane details of our lives as well. And that's what the book of Ruth is all about.
So Naomi came back and she's going to sell some of her land, and I wanted to give you first shot, bro, to buy it back.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll buy it. Are you kidding? Naomi has always been my favorite.
Okay, cool. But also, if you buy the land, you have to marry Ruth. She's Naomi's daughter-in-law, and she's from Moab.
Moab? And the answer is Noab. I'm out, bro. She is all yours. And here is my shoe.
Oh, sweet. So, as in all true love stories, Bo and Ruth were married and were blessed by the Lord. He provided Naomi and Ruth with a redeemer in Boaz.
Also, later on, Ruth had a son. He was named Obed. Wonder if their next child was O-Couch or O-Cot or O-Futon. Obed grew up and had a son. His name was Jesse, who had a son named David. Yep, that David. Slingshot, king, awesome dude, psalm writer, and distant relative of Jesus.
Yay.
Shadrach's Furnace Sales. Come by and visit us. Our furnaces are 7 times hotter than the other guys. Literally. We don't bow to the competition. 20% off coupon. Use code Nebuchadnezzar eats burnt boogers. Visit us on our website, www.fireproof.com. Hashtag we didn't start the fire. Hashtag these boys don't burn.
Hi, I'm Sean Burgundy, and when I'm thirsty after a tough day at Church Center, I reach for a nice, lukewarm Adam and Eve's apple cider. And I know what you're thinking. Adam and Eve aren't the best decision makers. True. But boy, can they make a delicious drink. Think your drink is fresh? This is straight from the garden. Sure, they had a million different drinks they could have made, but apparently this is the only one that would do. At the low price of one farthing, this drink is cheap, considering all it cost. Adam and Eve's apple cider. It gives you leaves to dress in. 100% unfermented and serpent-free. Hey y'all, hope y'all liked it. I hope they're still out there with us.
I hope they are. Some good girl voices, wasn't it? Yeah.
Might have scared them off. But seriously, we hope you enjoyed it. We had fun doing it. We do have some closing points from me and Drew. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So first of all, we hope that in that interpretation that you got out of it, Ruth's loyalty to Naomi. She was in a foreign land. She came back with her to Bethlehem when really she didn't have to. Her husband had died, but she stuck by Naomi's side. And that in the Bible, that tells us of God's loyalty to us, those of us that follow His Son.
Yep. Point number 2. God will always use underdogs to tell His story. I mean, think about Ruth. I mean, she was very gentle. She was a Gentile, but she loses her husband. But look what she does. And God used her in a mighty awesome way.
That's right. And point 3 we hope you got is, and I think we made this one clear if nothing else, was Boaz as Ruth's redeemer. They referenced the kinsman redeemer, which is kind of a weird term. We talked about family protector, but we talk about Jesus being our redeemer. So in that story, Boaz was kind of the Jesus character. He redeemed Ruth and Naomi in the story, just like Jesus redeemed us on the cross.
That's right. All the time. Listen, did you have fun? I had fun too. We hope y'all enjoyed it. And listen, who knows what we'll get into next time. So
Never can tell.
keep watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.